G'day guys, it's Red Coat here with another Outriders Basics and Build video. So, today we will be covering both the basic rundown of the Devastator, as well as my Vampiric Devastator build. So, before we get into that, if you don't mind, don't forget to drop a like, follow, subscribe if you can, and I will be streaming Outriders every Monday at 8:30 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. I usually stream for about an hour to 2 hours, so feel free to jump by, say hey. If you want to see any of the builds in a live demonstration, or even just jump in for a game, I'm always down to play with subscribers and fans and followers. Just anyone really, just trying to build a happy, healthy community where we can all get along. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So first of all, basics of the Outrider. As with all classes, you got your two passives. One will make it so your melee damage is able to do something additional, and for the Devastator, that is creating bleed procs, which are just your basic damage over time and allow you to keep injuring enemies after the fact of them being hit. The other passive that all characters get is a unique healing mechanic where each character has their own way of healing. Now, for the Devastator, the exact words of the creators are enemies who die while standing too close. So, within the game, there is a mechanic where your guns are broken into close range and long range weapons. So any weapon that is within a close range variant, or while you are in the range of your individual character's close range distance, any enemy that dies will grant you a percentage of healing. As for the skill subtypes that are found within the characters, a Devastator has access to Seismic, Interrupt, Protection, and Kinetic skills. Those skills themselves being Earthquake, which sends out a shockwave in front of you, which lifts the earth, dealing a significant amount of damage, and an Interrupt, which will stop enemies' movements or their abilities from being triggered themselves. This is also a kinetic ability, will also be classed as an interrupt ability. The second ability that you get access to is Golem, and this decreases incoming damage by 65% for 8 seconds and is a protection ability. The third ability of the 8 that you unlock is Gravity Leap, which turns you into a floating pile of rocks that floats up behind the character, and then you pick a target to launch yourself out at great speed, dealing a decent amount of damage, which is yet another kinetic and interrupt ability. The fourth ability that you get access to is Reflect Bullets, which is pretty much putting up a force field that will absorb all incoming bullets towards you for 10 seconds. Once that 10 seconds is up, you will reflect all damage absorbed back to the enemies in front of you. You are also able to deactivate the ability early to reduce the next cooldown by up to 90%. The fifth ability that you will get access to is Impale, where you pick a target and deal a massive amount of damage as well as a bleed proc. If the target gets killed by this ability, instead of a bleed proc, you gain armor and healing. This is both a seismic and interrupt ability. Next up we have Tremor, which is a small explosive shockwave dealing small amounts of damage to all enemies that are hit within the area, draining a portion of their health and returning it to your character. Next up we have Boulder Dash, which charges you in a straight line, dealing damage and interrupting all enemies hit while reducing all damage taken while the ability is active by 65%. Now this is both a kinetic and an interrupt ability. The final ability that you get access to is Endless Mass, which allows you to target an enemy, turning it pretty much into a giant enemy magnet that will attract and pull all surrounding enemies in range into the attack while dealing a bleed proc to the targeted enemy. Once all enemies have been pulled in, the targeted enemy will then explode, putting out a slow proc and a small amount of damage to all enemies hit. This is the final ability, and it is a kinetic ability. Now, let's get into the meat and bones of this video, the part that I'm hoping most of you are here for, and that is my Vampiric Devastator build. It is something that is still a work in progress, I will admit. You will be able to, anyone can tell you I don't have my legendary set yet. I'm still on APOC 10, so we're still getting there. But what I have been using so far, at least for my abilities, is Earthquake, Gravity Leap, and Impale. Now, as for the class abilities I chose to pick, so when I say class abilities, I just mean what items within my skill tree I find to be important. Now, for this build, there are 3 key items that you just need to make sure you have. The first is Stone Circle. Now, that's just going to give you a bigger classification of your close range that I was talking about earlier. So it makes what is a close range enemy further away. Next up, you have Blood Donation, which makes you heal 25% of all your bleeding procs on the field. Finally, I throw in Earth's Heritage, and this is for the 50% bonus to seismic damage due to both my Earthquake and Impale being seismic-based abilities. Next up, we have our Pax line. So, your Pax line is exclusively a World Slayers thing, so you will need the DLC to be able to get into it. But the Pax abilities I have chosen is Puncture, which allows my seismic abilities to deal a bleeding proc whenever they hit an enemy. As mentioned earlier, 2 of my 3 used abilities are seismic, and this will allow me to get more of my bleeding procs, allowing me to consistently heal, making it very hard for enemies to kill me when I am outnumbered. The next Pax ability that I made sure I had to get was Energy Transmission, and this will allow greater synergy between my seismic abilities, which are very prominent, and my third ability, which is actually a kinetic, where my seismic will help my kinetic cool down, and if I can chain a kinetic, seismic one after another, they get 15% extra damage. Now, finally, we come to where I give my gear suggestions for this character. Now, as for weapons, the only really thing I suggest is you've already got enough bleed procs through all your abilities, so you don't want to be running bleed procs, because this game doesn't allow you double dip. If you have one bleed proc on an enemy, hitting another will only reset your bleed proc. It will not put a double bleed proc. So instead, you want to be using something that will be more versatile to your playstyle, whether you want large DPS or whether you want something that's going to give you protection or armor. These are the things you will be looking for within your guns themselves, as well as actually being able to kill the enemies when your abilities are on cooldown. Though the cooldowns aren't big, you still will have a few seconds here and there where you are left without. But as for your armor mods, there is actually quite a bit I can offer for information for what I use. So the legendary item that I am 3 sets that I am hunting down for this build in specific is the Seismic Commander, and this is purely because it allows my bleed procs to deal more damage, allowing me to get enemies eliminated quicker while increasing the amount I heal, because if my bleed procs do more damage, I heal for more damage. But your armor mods, on the other hand, there are a few that I definitely would recommend using, such as heal per kill. I don't think I really need to explain why you're running a heal per kill. Extra Quake, this is for an additional Earthquake, and honestly, Earthquake is one of my most used abilities on this build, so having a second is definitely handy. It's also an option to run Second Quake, which will actually give you a total of 3 Earthquakes used per cooldown. Next up, we have Blood Crush, which allows my Gravity Leap, which is my only non-seismic ability, to deal bleed procs, meaning all 3 of my abilities now have access to deal bleed procs, which is why I don't need them on my guns. Panzer's Drain is on my Earthquake so that I can strip the armor from my enemies.
Ground Crush. Now this just allows me to pretty much double the damage of each of the Earthquakes. Earth Legacy will allow me to get more range into my Earthquakes. And Post-Mortem will make my Impale kill. If I can kill an enemy with my Impale, it will then send out another Impale to the closest enemy. If that enemy dies, it will send out another, and this can proc up to 3 times. Finally, I run Despair, which makes enemies hit with my Gravity Leap take an additional 30% anomaly damage. Yet again, adding extra damage and bleed procs, meaning my character has more healing and more capability to kill. Anyway, thank you for tuning into the video. Hopefully I was able to help some people out, and if you, as I said, if you ever want to come by for a stream and play a bit of Outriders, or just anything really, let me know and we can work something out. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me, and I'll catch you in the next video. Let me know what you want to be seeing after I finish off the Technomancer next week, and we will be finished our Outriders basics compilation. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.